And, it shows just like these great relationships you have with people. And, Venus and Serena Williams, you're very close with them. And I think of that clip. I think you were talking to Serena. She like busts out laughing in the middle of a conversation, but it's just because there's a comfort there. Not to mention, she doesn't really do media during certain aspects.
Right.
And you said knowing them is life changing. And that could be for an obvious reason, but knowing the Williams sisters and it's life changing. What do you mean by that?
A couple of things. I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with their father also. The whole family, their sisters, Isha, Lynn, their mother, Oracine, everyone is just wonderful. But I had like a really long talk in the summer, Wimbledon of 2012 with Richard. We sat on that lawn overlooking court 14 at Wimbledon and we just talked for like 3-4 hours. And look, the love that they have for each other is one of their greatest strengths, which has held them in such great stead against all these different things that they've had to tackle throughout their lives. But I think the number one thing that they do so exceptionally well, and it probably stems from that bond, is, and I mean this in the nicest, healthiest way, is to absolutely not care what people think and what people say. And it's such a simple thing. But I think the more any of us are able to master that, it just takes us into different levels of life in everything, from our social, romantic relationships to our professional and purpose ambitions in life. It's one of the most freeing things in the world, and it actually allows you to dig deep. Because we are, whether we like it or not, kind of shackled a little bit by what people think. So the more we can escape that, it's one of the greatest things you can do for yourself. So I think it's a constant process, but that was one of the major takeaways.
And what's it like just watching them grow? Because, they, in the infancy of their careers, they made tennis into this pop culture phenomenon, and they grew as women and entrepreneurs and like moms. And like, so how have you witnessed them grow just as individuals?
Well, the beautiful part is through all those evolutions, and now I'm seeing them do so many different things. Last year in November, Venus and I hosted a pilot together. We hosted a pilot for Live Nation in the music space, totally unrelated to film. So we were in Austin shooting for a weekend together. It was so much fun, and to see her kind of get into that side of what she's doing now was beautiful. Because I always told her, "You're amazing on camera." She's like, "No, this isn't for me." I'm like, "You're amazing doing this stuff." So to see both of them and the whole family grow into all these different aspects, and they're all so tremendously successful. The one commonality in the entire journey is they have totally been unadulterated themselves all the way through. And I think that goes back to the family bond and really blocking out the outside world and making your decisions for yourself. I'll never forget one quote. It was in one of their documentaries that they did. Serena was going on the court and Venus was giving her a pep talk, and she said, "Listen, if you don't do it for you, do it for me, die on the court." And I mean, when you can have that kind of attitude going into something, and it's your love and bond with your family that you're willing to fall on the sword for, I'm for sure going to trust that person at 5-all in the third set versus someone who's just trying to win the match.
Yeah. And what do you think you've taught them?
Gosh, I don't know. I really think you'd have to ask them.
Okay, fine. I'll go ask them. I'll go ask them.
I really think you might need to. But we stayed close through all these years. It's been a long time, and it's a blessing when you don't see people as often as you do, as you did. But when you still see each other, it's still like you've been seeing each other every day. That's a blessing, and that's rare.